All right, hello everyone, and thank you for tuning in for another Grace for Purpose podcast. So I have someone super special on tonight, and she's going to run down some information on us, with us, so that we can be more informed as authors. So I have Miss Rhonda Meekins on with us. Rhonda, she has her bachelor's degree in accounting and finance and her master's degree in accounting. So she works with small businesses to help them with their taxes. She is a full-time auditor at a CPA firm. So I'm going to pass it over to her so she can give you a little bit more insight about herself.
Okay. Yes. So hi, I am Rhonda, owner of Me Ronda, and my business is a bookkeeping and tax preparation business. It also provides other accounting services, which also include tax planning, bookkeeping training, and then also accounting tutoring. As far as my background go, as Juanita said, I am a full-time auditor at a CPA firm, and I pretty much just audit governments, not-for-profit entities, some universities, just a wide range of clients. And I've been in public accounting for about 5 years. And then outside of that, I think that's pretty much it. I am registered as a tax preparer with IRS. So that gives me an advantage too when it comes to other tax preparers in the industry.
Definitely. So what motivated you to select the career path that you're on right now?
So I chose to become an accountant because I love numbers. And I also love learning. And accounting is a career field where you're always going to learn because there are always new changes and updates to accounting standards, as well as, as you see within the accounting field, the tax updates. So you're always learning. And then on top of that, I know this career field is very demanding. So it's always going to be a position or a job offer open for these type of, I guess, with this type of career field.
Okay, definitely. That makes sense. It's something people ask me like tax questions all the time. Authors, I'm like, listen, I'm gonna send you to somebody who can answer because I know things change a lot. So I know you have two little girls as well.
Yes, I do.
Okay, so Rhonda is a small business owner. She's a mom. So, she wears a lot of hats. I'm so excited that you came on to help answer some questions that some of the authors have asked. So we'll jump right into it. The first question was, do authors have to report income from book sales?
The answer is always going to be yes. You should always report, and you're required to report any income from your book sales. And I want to also pinpoint that when you're reporting that income, you can also report those business expenses related to being an author. And sometimes if you have a business loss, that can offset other taxable income on your tax return. So yeah, report that income, but also take advantage of the business deductions related to it.
Okay, so definitely that's why I always say make sure you go ask somebody who knows because and then I know each state is a little different. So is that just, kind of general across the board or can it
Yeah.
switch up a little bit based on the state?
Oh, well, that's going to be for federal taxes. So that's going to
Okay.
be all across the board.
Okay, so for federal taxes. So the next question that I have gotten a lot, do we need to have an accountant? Do you recommend that?
I would recommend having an accountant for, I would say, questions. But as your business continues to grow and the volume and the complexity of your transactions increase, then I would say yes, it's required because you're going to want to know how it affects your businesses on a financial and also an operational standpoint. So yes and no. Yes, as it continues to increase, but right at this moment, depending on how big your business is and if you're just growing, yeah, you can consult with an accountant, but full time, I wouldn't, from a cost standpoint, I wouldn't say yes.
Okay. So there are accountants who can kind of work like on call type of situation. If you have questions, is that how it would work?
Yeah. So like, for example, with my business, what I do is I offer like accounting consultations.
Okay.
So for example, if there's a client that may not be like a monthly or recurring client, if they, just have me as their go-to person, we would just set up an accounting consultation meeting where they can ask all the accounting related questions. And, I would provide responses, but it wouldn't be like a full-time, recurring payment that I'm
Okay.
withdrawing from their account.
Okay, got it. So because we're talking about book sales, The next question jumps right into what recommendations would you have for authors to track their expenses, starting right at even that publishing process that they go through?
I would say, again, when it comes to cost, a lot of things when it comes to any type of business, it's going to be cost. What's going to be the cost benefit of it all? So if your business is just getting started, you do not have a lot of transactions, I would say use something as simple as Excel and just
Okay.
track, your income and expenses. Now, again, as your business continues to increase, the volume and again, the complexity of those transactions increase, then you want to get some software, maybe like QuickBooks, where you can actually have your bank accounts linked to it and those
Okay.
transactions automatically come through.
Okay, so there's definitely different software that you can use. So like you said, QuickBooks, Excel, and then what I'll do is we'll share some different software that you can use. So then the next thing is, so sometimes as an author, I know Amazon, what you'll get is a 1099. And if you go through like a publishing company, you're getting those for royalties. So can you kind of explain maybe a little bit more in detail, what is a 1099 and why is it important for us as authors to understand it?
Okay, so the 1099s are typically with a payer, like you said, Amazon. They would issue those 1099s to individual contractors for any type of income that was earned throughout the year. And that is going to more than likely is going to be pre-tax income. And then when Amazon issues it to the contractor, they're also issuing it to the IRS. So when it comes to those 1099s, they are required to be filed. But also on the flip side, as an author, if you have anyone that's, performing any type of services for you, you're going to want to track the amounts that you're paying that individual, because anything that's over $600, you're going to have to issue them a 1099. So that also means that you're required to file that 1099 to the IRS.
Right. Okay. So the author would need to send a 1099 to like their publisher. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if they have any type of contractors that, perform
Okay.
any type of services for them, and especially if it's over $600, it has to be $600 or greater. They would issue those to the IRS, but also send that to those contractors.
Okay. Got it. So
And then the
over
10,
600.
and then to put an emphasis on it for the 1099s that are received from Amazon, or any other type of vendors where the books are sold, those 1099s are required to be filed with the author's tax return.
Okay, got it. Yeah, so it's a lot that you have to really keep in mind. So one question that I hope that you can really like break down for us, because people get so confused here. Do authors need to have an LLC or set up their authorship as a business? I think you kind of like touched on it a little bit in the beginning.
So it is not a requirement, but it's all based on, I would say the benefit of it all, right? So if you have an LLC as an author, it gives you extra protection over your personal assets. So if you were to be sued in any form, you can actually have your personal assets protected.
Okay.
However, you don't, again, you're not required to have an LLC. So you can always, have your book published as a self-publisher. And then also on top of that, you could just have like your legal name, do your business as well, your authorship underneath your legal name, as
Okay.
opposed to underneath a brand.
Okay. So you don't have to set it up as an LLC, which, okay. So, and then when it comes to determining the right price, that all goes back to a no cost. Are you able to give insight or some different tips on how they can determine the cost of selling their book?
Yeah, so on a general rule, right, when it comes to determining the cost of what you're producing, that's always going to be something that you're going to at least have some type of profit over, if not at least break even. So if you're just getting started, I think the biggest mindset you're going to have, well, the great how do I want to put this? The biggest perspective that you want to look at is like, hey, I want to get my book out here. So I want to actually, gain an audience. So when you have that aspect and you're just getting started, making money is not going to be I wouldn't say it's going to be the top priority. Of course you want to
Right.
make money, but it's not going to be top priority. Then on the flip side, if you're already established in the market and you have already, produced some books, then I would say the cost of producing the book and then plus the profit that you would like to make on that book should
Okay.
determine the selling price.
Okay.
And then once you have calculated that amount, you want to compare it to other books that are, on same genres or similar books and what they're being sold for.
Okay, so definitely like just getting out there doing that research. I think that that's good. So you have given us a lot of information in like this short window of time, which will make sure that we continue to share it with different authors. So outside of just doing this podcast, what services do you offer that can help authors keep track of their income, expenses, and taxes?
So I'll just go back into like the consultation aspect. Um, so when it comes to tracking, again, if they are, I would say, kind of tax savvy and good when it comes to accounting for assets, liabilities, income, and expenses, I could do a one-on-one bookkeeping training with them. If they don't have time for that, even if they are, able to do that, I offer bookkeeping services.
Okay.
However, at this moment, my client portfolio is full, so
Okay.
I
That's
always
what we love to hear that.
so, but on the bookkeeping, I offer bookkeeping services, and then also I offer tax preparation services, and that's on both an individual and a business level. And then in addition to that, I offer tax planning services. So I actually just opened my schedule up to do some tax planning or, become available for tax planning for newer potential clients.
Okay. So we love to hear that if the books are closed, that means business is great. So
Yes.
do you have any upcoming events that listeners can check out? Any classes in the works?
So at this moment, I don't have any upcoming events. We are in the process of planning another home buyers night.
Okay.
I mean, of course, I think that's for any type of audience. And then outside of that, like I said, I have the tax planning that I've opened up my schedule for. And then as events come up, I always post them to my website. I have an events tab, and
Okay.
you can find those upcoming events whenever I have them scheduled on my website, hmraccounting.com.
Okay. So we can check out the website. And then do you have a social media that they can check out as well?
Yes, so I'm on Facebook, Help Me Ronda LLC on Facebook. I have a business page there. And then I also have Instagram, and it's at Help Me Ronda __.
Okay. And so we'll make sure we tag that information in the post as well. So I definitely appreciate you coming and giving insight on all the questions that we get. I'm sure more will come up when you're dealing with like taxes and royalties and money and should I start a business? Like the questions are endless. So um I would definitely recommend my listeners to book a one-on-one consultation, check out the different services that Rhonda has, and just keep yourself super informed. So we always like to
Okay.
end the podcast with the guests just giving us whether you want to give us a tip or some type of word of encouragement or advice. Definitely we talking about money, so I think it's needed.
I would be very cliche, but like just pay your taxes. But I really want to say, one of the things that I really go by is don't ever take no for an answer. Just keep pushing and keep grinding, keep going forward until you get to your yes. Your yes is gonna come. So do not give up. Just keep grinding. So we don't take no for an answer here. And that's the
Definitely.
advice I have.
I love that. Well, I definitely appreciate you joining tonight. And I'm sure, like I said, we'll have you back because the questions, they're endless. Things change. I know the tax laws change. So I once again appreciate it. Listeners, thank you for tuning in. And then be sure to follow Rhonda on social media and check out the different services that she has. Take care.
Thank you so much for having me.